Now that we know about inversions, I'm going to tell you why you should care about them. Because they make playing the piano much easier. So think about a chord progression that looks like this. You have four chords in the progression. It goes A, D, E, A, which is a really common chord progression. It's just the 1, the 4, the 5, and back to the 1 of A major. And let's say that I was going to play the chords like this. So I'm going to put for A major, I'm going to put my thumb on the A, my index finger on the C sharp, and my middle finger on the E. And this is a major chord, this is a major chord, this is a major chord, and so like you can imagine that I take just my thumb, index finger, middle finger kind of position, and I just move it over to start on the D for the next chord. So thumb on the D, index finger on the F sharp, middle finger on the A. And then I shift that over again to the right so that thumb is on the E, index finger on the G sharp, and middle finger on the B. And then I come all the way back down from the E to the A. And so look at this. My thumb has moved from A all the way over to D, all the way over to E, and then all the way back to A in the course of this progression. But it doesn't have to be that way. I can solve that and make everything a lot closer together so that my thumb doesn't have to move so far all the time with the use of inversions. So let's take a look at this chord right here, this D. What if I were to take this A and just move it over here? And what if I said I want this to be my thumb? Well, that's awesome because my thumb doesn't have to move. It's staying on the A. And then this will be my index finger, and this will be my middle finger. So look at this. Using inversions, I can go from the root position of the A chord to an inversion of the D chord, where the only thing that has to move is my index finger from C sharp to D and my middle finger from E to F sharp. So it's like basically staying in the same position. Thumb stays here on the A, index finger moves from C sharp to D, and middle finger moves from E to F sharp. All right, and so now what's the closest way we can construct this E chord? Well, let's take this B and let's move it over here. And I'm not sure where my fingers are going to get. And so yeah, this is an option. This is an option for me. I could put my thumb here. I could put my index finger here, and my middle finger here. But actually, I think I can do even one better. I think that I can take this G sharp and move it right here. And now look at this. My thumb goes here. My index finger goes here. My middle finger goes here. And so now, like, just look at this economy of motion. Thumb only has to move, like, it just follows this path. Index finger is kind of the one that's moving around. But the middle finger stays really nice, like kind of in like the same physical space. So that's pretty cool. Like you can contain your fingers within the same kind of physical space by the use of inversions. And another thing that this whole thing that I just showed you is called is voice leading. What does that mean? Well, remember, like pretend that we were in this world again, where let's see, G sharp. I meant to do this. Pretend that we're in this world where it was thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. And pretend that thumb is a singer. And so the person singing this line is singing A, D, E, A. And then the person singing this line is singing C sharp, the index line. So Mr. Index is singing C sharp, F sharp, G sharp, that should be here, and C sharp. And then Mr. Middle, or Mrs. Middle, is singing E, A, B, and E. Well, that's a lot of moving for these voices. And they're all moving exactly in parallel, which means that there's not a lot of interesting counterpoint going on. There's not a lot of motion of the voices with respect to each other. But if I take this and move it back here, and I rearrange it so that it's thumb, index, middle, and then I do my fancy maneuver over here, where this is thumb, index, middle. So now Mr. Thumb is singing a very simple line, da 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 da, and Mr. Index is singing. I'm not gonna be able to sight read this just because I'm not good at that, but is singing sort of a nice counterpoint melody to this one, and Mr. Middle or Mrs. Middle is singing a very simple da 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 da. Let's see if I actually can do this one. This is A. And I don't know if this is actually, I'm just going to call this 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, da, 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 da. That's that really nice line. So think about each of these little guys as a melody that a singer is singing. And now they're just nice little contained melodies that sound nice, and they're moving kind of in relationship to each other in a way that's not parallel. And that's kind of the concept. That's why it's called voice leading. There's this really kind of fascinating rule in music, which is that the closer together you can put these voices, like let's say that differently. The narrower the path for a particular voice, in the context of, if the voices are all moving together from one note to another note to another note to another note, the narrower I can make each of these paths, generally, the better it's going to sound. And why is that a law of music? Not exactly sure, but just play it. So play this version, and then compare it to, let me just copy and paste this. Now compare it to the version where we had it like this. So just make this visually different. All right, so we have two versions. We have we have this version where the chords are moving perfectly in parallel, and we have this version where they're not moving in parallel. Go to a piano and play them just like this. And you're going to move your thumb exactly like that. You're going to move your index finger exactly like that. Middle finger exactly like that. And then in the next version, you're going to move them like this. And then you tell me which one sounds nicer. I bet you're going to think it's this one.